All right, we are here. Day 3 of our Hub Zone and Sessions conference series, and we have none other than Tim Hagerty from TeamingPro. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Derek. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and this is going to be a very exciting one because this is what the conference is all about, matchmaking, right? And this is why people go to conferences. It's all about building relationships, whether it's with each other as partners, whether it's with these government agencies. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about you. Tim, tell me about TeamingPro. Tell me about where you're from, what you do.
Sure. Yeah, so Tim Hagerty, CEO, TeamingPro. Been in the federal contracting space about 21 years. Started out as call it a government contractor. So I used to be GS-13 at the Naval Safety Center in Norfolk, Virginia. And then I went private, worked for a small business, 8A, woman-owned, to where we started competing in the defense contracting space and aerospace. And so we were taking on the big guys as we grew, and so my role within that whole time, almost that whole time, was building out the software that we needed as a company and for customers. So worked on large contracts with some of the largest contractors, as well as government agencies. And then from there, I started my business development journey because we always need new opportunities in our pipeline, no matter what size company, right? And so we started, or I started going down the road of like, okay, what does it take? It's one thing to do the job, got it? Okay, what does it take to get more of these jobs in the pipeline? And then, especially as a small business, and then how do we manage them? All right. So that's kind of been a pretty deep thought process throughout what is now teamingpro.com.
Okay, so
So
and this is great because you know clearly you've got the experience from that large contract center, and now you've had it down to. I'm personally a member of TeamingPro, proud customer of TeamingPro, so I love it. So this can
thank
help
you.
both small business and large business, correct?
Yes, and all centered, around what we're talking about here, essentially, which is the matchmaking, right? So, because there is no difference in the process in this matchmaking than what has to happen on a business development level between subcontractors, small businesses, and large prime contractors, as well as how the government agencies play their role as well too. So all of that comes in together, and so with this matchmaking process here. So we are putting to this and the same thing that we have put in our platform, how we pair companies together, right? And so the whole thing that makes it work is that we pair companies together over something that's relevant, right? And so, like in this case now, we have the small businesses, right? Small businesses have a distinct challenge, especially if they're brand new coming into the market versus if they've been in the market for a year or two, and different levels of challenges therein, right? And so with that, okay, there's how do you get things started? You have to, when you're brand new, you have to learn that you have to talk to the right guys and work your way down your pipeline. Okay, but let's just say you're in the business and you're working. You always need the same principled things, right? You will need your company, your service, your small business. You will need an opportunity of something, okay? And then you will need in most cases in the industry that we work in here is a teammate, because we're a relationship based industry. The strongest team wins. And we're talking about like a service based industry or a service based companies, right? So teams win, right? And so you're going up against teams as you're going out and competing in the federal market. So, hey, it's a good idea to combine resources, and that is what's happening all over the industry. So we have to accept that as a reality, right? And then say, okay, so who are we teaming with and why? So that's what our matchmaking here does. And that's what we're working with the Hub Zone with, saying, okay, how do we put the best potential teammates and partners together? And that is the solution that I came up with, is over relevant conversations to start having right now.
So this is great. So one of the things that I think a lot of people like you mentioned here, just to kind of encapsulate what you said, make sure keep me honest here. I want to make sure I got this correct. Is, a lot of approach is kind of a spray and pray. Oh, well, I just want to throw out CAPE statements to everybody in the world, and you don't ever get any responses because you're trying to cast too wide of a net. So what you've done is
Yes.
tailored this, right, to some
Oh, yeah.
specific things as a small business, not even just finding the business, but also finding people who you can team up with to get the
Yes.
business. Okay,
Yes,
can you
yes,
go into a little bit about that methodology with the small
sure.
business?
Oh yeah. Knowing that that's a reality, right? So we're stronger together. So when you're going after, say something is coming out as a contract that's going to expire, that's coming back around, right? There is historically a number of teams that are going after, that are working together in their own way, right, to win that work, right? Because the government doesn't like to spend less money, right? So the government keeps spending money, right? So these contracts come back around, all the way to the contracts that are on SAM.gov, right? So we're like, okay, this is something that's interesting to us as a company, and so we want to go after that. All right. So now it's a small business, and entering or trying to work within this relationship based industry, right? It's a uphill battle because your network is only so large, right? So that right there is going to limit the things that you can legitimately go after, that you can legitimately look at and then say, hey, wait a minute, this is a good piece of work, but what's our probability of actually, coming away with a win? So a lot of that relies on your network. In a small business, you're starting out. We don't know a lot, right? So that is one of the things that we figured out, and then made it to where, okay, now our TeamingPro network, right, which is 25,000 companies strong and growing, right? These are all opted-in companies who are competing in the federal space, right, and or supporting companies in the federal space too, that are right there ready to start a conversation, right? Now, in this case, okay, so you said spray and pray, right? Okay, which is, it's a very expensive strategy, because how often do the small businesses budget out exactly what they're doing in their spray, right? And then they have no idea what the outcome's going to be. So Teaming Pro, we figured this out. We take the opposite tact. It's a laser guided thing. You start the conversations, the right conversations about the opportunities and contracts that are a match for you, with the right companies that are also working on the same kinds of contracts historically right now. So the right conversations with the right companies, and doing that to where the small business coming into the market before would take months, years, maybe, ultimately to come down to having the right conversations with the right people that lead to work share.
Okay, so
So this is the way to do that much faster.
no, that is awesome, and I think the efficiency as well as the accuracy, it's they're probably equally important. Like you said, it's an
Very
expensive
much so.
strategy. So, now, are there eligibility requirements for matchmaking at this year's HubZone conference?
Registration in SAM.gov first, right? So you do have to have a proper UEI, okay, and you want to have a current SAM record, okay, because like your company profiles are driven based off of your SAM.gov profile, okay. So that is one of the things, and then but from there, no, we will go ahead and pull the latest SAM.gov ops. We will also pull some recompete expiring contracts that are all fitting in the paradigm of companies that are going to be in the room, both as a subcontractor role and a prime contractor role. So all of that's taken care of. All the companies have to do is get ready to come and talk about, right, their business, right? But this is the other one thing that I'd say. Talk about like what it is that the small business can do for the large. And this is one of the things that we are doing serendipitously through here, Derek, is that through this matchmaking, we are starting us HubZone, right?
Yep.
We are trying to start the relevant conversation, right? Whether it works for that exact opportunity, right, or not, the way that we pair them here is that the small business is talking to a large prime and or a government agency in some cases too, right? That have worked with these with small businesses just like them historically, to a tune of over $1 million in a subcontracting role. So
Okay, so
these are
so
winning
real
companies.
quick, we're talking now from the prime perspective, right? Not from the some
Yes.
business. Okay, so if you're a prime coming, you need to hit those small business numbers. You even have a solution for them, just to clarify.
Yes,
Okay, good.
exactly right. Right, because we're all playing we're all playing parts in our wonderfully big industry, right? Yeah, and so prime contractors need qualified subs. Subcontractors want to either launch or grow their business, their qualified business in the federal market. So what we're doing here is within our matchmaking part here is trying to make those relevant conversations, get to the real meaty ones, right? Like right off the bat, and then start having those real talks.
No, that's awesome. So I'm assuming then you have some deliverables, right? Like a CSV file and all this. How does like, okay, I'm coming to the conference. I want to know where I need to position myself, and we're going to be talking later in sessions. We've got Chris is going to be joining us. He's going to be showing us about some of the really cool aspects from the location and drilling down, and we're going to be in that conversation tomorrow. But if I want to get my matchmaking information, how do I go about getting that?
Yeah, so we are working with the HubZone Council part, right? And we have all of the names that we are pulling. This is going to be this week's data. So Fed opportunities are coming and going each day, right? So we are pulling this as we go, right? Starting from the start date yesterday, I believe. So we have all of the participants that are going to be matched. So we're working with the HubZone Council to work out the timing for those matches. And then they'll start the communication in terms of the scheduling from that point. So we now, so like when it comes down to the actual like what time slots, I think that is the part that is being worked out next on the HubZone Council with the HubZone Council.
And that's going to be, I believe, through the application Jujima, and we're going to have some videos up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before you get out of here, I do want to ask you just a little bit more about TeamingPro. So it seems like this is kind of you have a bunch of different features here. So I'm a small business. One of the biggest expenses we have is business development, right? How does TeamingPro solve this for a small company like mine?
Oh, yeah, sure. Great. Actually. All right. So imagine you're a small business in the federal market. Okay. So the number one thing that you'll be concentrating on to work and grow your business will be opportunities, right? Okay. So instead of spending the time to go search for them yourselves or have all this other stuff out there, TeamingPro uses what we've called BDAI, right? Which is that's an automatic engine that's in the TeamingPro platform that is every day looking and searching, doing all that searching stuff for you for your opportunities. So it's based on your company profile and how you customize that. It is going to bring you back SAM.gov ops for that day, and it's going to bring you back contracts that are expiring that match your stuff. Okay, so the system automates the finding of the opportunity for you, right? And it's all over the place. Okay, the next thing is when let's say there's something that you want to start working and tracking. Because this is what you're going to want to do, Derek, as a small business now. Okay, now it's great. We found opportunity, right? The only way as a small business, we have to preserve our resources. So if we organize, then we can do more, right? So we have a built-in pipeline. It's based on the Shipley model. So there's a series of 6 buckets. You put an opportunity at the beginning of your pipeline. From there, you'll be able to invite companies from the TeamingPro network to come and work, like however you build your teams. Right. And then you'll be able to organize everything that you're working in your buckets from all the way from your interest to your closed won, closed lost. Okay. So there's organization there. So as the system finds the opportunities, then you pick and choose the ones you like, you put them in your pipeline, right? And then you start tracking from the pipeline now. The way to add companies is you use what we call the auto connect feature. This is how you as a small business can talk to the rest of the network. When you click the auto connect button for your pipeline record, right, the system already knows what kind of contract and knows all that kind of stuff, and it's lined up companies that are set, are qualified subcontracting possibility, right, within the network. So you can go find your teammates, right, for whatever it is that you're working through the TeamingPro network. So the 3 main things that every small business needs in order to work and succeed in the federal business market are provided by TeamingPro. So 1 is the opportunity. So we find it all over. 2 is the organization. So you can do more, right? And then 3 is your network, because because your network, ultimately who you compare with and partner with is really going to dictate what it is that you can ultimately go after. So with our network of 25,000 plus companies and growing, every small business now has essentially like an unlimited network to be able to tap into for whatever they need in order to take those opportunities and move them down the pipeline and start winning that work.
And that's awesome, man. And I say this all the time. Success is not an accident; it's a formula. And part of that formula is finding the right tools. And I got to tell you, TeamingPro is one of those ones that has helped my company out quite a bit. And I'm very excited about connecting with you here tomorrow. I'll be out there. I do want to say before we go, one other thing too. Very special thanks to Dell Technologies. Dell is the sponsor of our matchmaking event here. So again, make sure if you have not signed up for the HubZone conference, head on over to the hubzonecouncil.org. Make sure you get signed up. Make sure you get registered. We're going to have a golf outing on Monday. We're going to be doing after dark. So, I mean, it's going to be fun for the whole family. Tim, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for, all the amazing hard work that you did here with matchmaking and helping these companies out. Appreciate you, sir.
Oh, Derek, thank you very much. Right back at you.